Who are you?
Hi, this is the Professional Amateur Hour coming to you with another review. This week, Leo sent me Breaking Infinity, and this 2023 film was directed by Marianna Dean and stars Neil Bishop, Jonny Phillips, and Zoe Cunningham, among others, of course. The story of this movie is about this scientist, and he has lost his memory, and he lost his memory because he walked into some type of magnetic field or something. I don't know. He was doing an experiment and, walked into his experiment. And now he is also unstuck from time. And he keeps getting visions of like the end of the world, or I don't know really how it works. He kind of like transfers his consciousness to his own body, of course, throughout different time periods. So he sees the end of the world sometimes, but then he'll, time travel or body time travel to 2 months before, 3 months before. Then there's of course the present and things like that. And so will he be able to figure out what's happening and stop the end of the world? Well, for that you'll have to watch the movie and find out. Alright, so let's discuss this film. Well, with this one, it is about time travel, and not all time travel things work. This one, I think they've done it in an interesting way, where it's really kind of about the POV of the character, or point of view of the character, because it's all about his consciousness kind of transferring along his own timeline. So he'll see, the end of the world at the beginning of the story, and, start freaking out about that, and we as the audience see that too. But then it's interesting because his mind is transferring to different time periods within the story. So he might be, 2 months out, 4 months out, and it's kind of funny how it works. Like one time he like time travels, and he's like, oh, like, what's going on? And the person's like, oh, you don't know what's going on? Like, I'm actually here following you. Like, where are we supposed to go? But it's his consciousness from the beginning of the story, just in his body at, like, a later part in the story. And so things like that are interesting. So as the story goes along, like, we get to see the solution to kind of this mystery box and what's really happening. And so all of that's very interesting. And again, I enjoyed the way it's revealed to us over time. I did enjoy that experience. So on that side, definitely an interesting little sci-fi tale. Other than that, I did enjoy the science in this one. It's all junk science, just silly science, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. With the time travel stuff, there's this like old man at the end of the world, and there's this like mystery about like who he is. And I thought they were kind of going to do a twist or something. And of course, I made my guess, early on in the movie who that guy is going to be. To find out, of course, you'll have to watch the movie and whatnot, but I enjoyed that intrigue. They also have the science aspect of it, and with this one, of course, they're sending stuff into the future and hopefully even into the past. But what their experiment is they want to send a magnetic laser and bounce it off of the cosmic radiation of the universe. I don't know. It was all kind of just junk science anyways, but again, fun just to say these things and just be like, oh sure, why not? That sounds fun. So there are lots of elements that would definitely bring in a science fiction fan into this one. And finally, I thought the acting was decent, the music's good. So all of that kind of production stuff definitely worked for this one. Even though it's clearly low budget, I loved kind of their scientific room, which I think I've seen before in another one. What was it, like Area 51 or something like that? It's some location in Britain. I've seen it in maybe like a Scott Jeffrey production or something. I don't think his name is attached to this one, so it's not, that quality or anything like that. It's fine. Like for what it is, I enjoyed it. And that brings me to what doesn't work with this movie. Well, with this one, it does have that low budget quality where it's just people talking in rooms. I didn't mind it that much in this one because they are talking about interesting things. And since it is like time travel, I'm interested to see him kind of revisit times and, respond differently and how they respond. And all that type of stuff is interesting. So even though it's just people talking in rooms or a hospital bed or whatever, it all works for what it is. And again, it adds that intrigue about how people are going to respond to him, different periods of time. Other than that, there are some kind of plot holes in it. Of course, it's time travel. There's always going to be some type of plot hole. With this one, he gets bandages, like he gets in an accident or something, of course off screen. We're never actually told, and that's the problem I have with this one, because it's kind of like a big thing for the viewer. Him having bandages and not having bandages has this like clear time point within the storyline or timeline, so you can kind of see where he is in his overall progression throughout this timeline. And so you just know when he has bandages and when he doesn't have bandages, it indicates something. And so they never actually show why he is in bandages. Like, is it a car accident, an attack, something like that? So it could have been done with a line, or even better yet, show us what happened to us in a car accident. So yeah, things like that definitely add to that plot hole aspect, but I think it's generally comprehensible as a timeline, or sorry, as a time travel story. So that is good, but when it comes down to it, it really just is what it is. As for my recommendation, well, it is time travel, and again, I think it's done pretty well, so most time travel fans can watch it. If you're just like a general sci-fi fan, it's kind of missing that, action quality to it. It's much more kind of a drama than anything else, with of course the time travel aspect to it. But again, intriguing. So if that sounds like something you want to watch, then press play. As for a rating, well, I'll give it the above average score of 6. And with that being said, I think that's all I wanted to say. So like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.